All Things Unexplained. Hosted by Dr. Mounts.
Let's face it, we were always ready to roll without him anyway.
CJ Derringer.
Ain't nobody perfect, right?
And Smitty Neebs.
I've never planned out hardly anything my whole life. I just freeball.
Featuring Cajun Man.
I'm just old nobody, somebody looking for somebody.
All right, much like Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, we went on a search for Smitty, and he's back.
Yeah, Smitty's had a little sickness, I tell you. I would have liked to have been on the podcast. Thank you. I would have much rather been talking to you.
Loyal and faithful, host with the most. You're back too,
Here
of
I
course.
am. Yeah.
So tonight, let's just dive right into it. We're going live on YouTube tonight. So if you're listening on Apple Podcast later at some point, maybe on Google, Spotify, wherever, thanks. We appreciate you. Wherever podcasts can be heard, you can hear us. Amazon, Audible, we're all over. But we're going live on YouTube tonight. And I decided to do a little something about these Pteranodon sightings. So I'm sure CJ and Smitty, you're both aware, there's been a rash of Pteranodon videos going around. Especially one.
I am absolutely not aware of that. No.
Well, it's true. So
I watched the video that you sent me, so if that makes me aware, then I guess
you're very aware. Very aware. Pterodactyl, I don't care if maybe you call them Pteranodon, maybe you call them pterosaur. There are some really good videos of pterodactyls, pterosaurs, which is interesting because we still don't get any good videos of Bigfoots, right? And we're dying for those. I can't say we're clamoring for dinosaur videos, but they keep pouring in, right? It's kind of interesting.
Of course, there's not a whole lot of place to hide in the sky, so as opposed to being in the woods, you know. But
That's
it's
true.
also like Jurassic Park, but maybe they're cloning some pterodactyls.
Yeah, they were so anxious to see if they could, they never stopped to think if they should. Maybe we should pull up one of the videos. So the video I'm talking about in particular, and I decided we're going to perform an All Things Unexplained analysis on this video. See if we can actually get to the bottom of the video. This video's been seen all over. Some places it's said that it's in Ohio. Some places say it's in Idaho. I'm sure that some sites say it's somewhere else. So I'm not exactly sure the origin of the video, when it came out, etc. But how about let's see if we can actually watch the video real quick. CJ and Smitty, can y'all see this?
See it.
Here we go.
Yeah, it looks good.
No sound here. And the video was paused, so it might have appeared to be frozen.
Going really
It might
slow.
be coming across a little choppy, but there it goes. You could see it. It does have a
cool, because like in slow motion,
pterodactyl-like appearance, right?
right?
Yeah, it really does.
When I see this, I see something real. Like, I don't think this is touched up at all. Oh, there it goes.
So hard to tell how big that is based on this video.
It is.
I know.
The wings look
that's
really big, though.
That's a good point. I think that we can safely say that it does have a large wingspan. Like, it's not a small bird.
It's strange looking, that's for sure.
Now, it does one interesting thing here coming up. It actually turns what most people call its head downward and kind of takes an unusual arc in the sky.
Right there, it almost looks like a pelican, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It does, which seems a little unusual for Ohio or Idaho, right?
Well, that's true.
All right, so it's still a little choppy, but I think it's about to get to the part where it kind of turns its pterodactyl head down for some reason.
Do we know who published this video?
You can kind of see its face.
No, I think the origins are totally unknown. It's kind of like one of those viral videos that nobody really knows where it came from to start with, and then it gets reposted so many times it just gets lost to the internet.
I mean, you can kind of see a space. You see the little light between what looks like its head and the wings. It's just a little
Right.
dot
And so,
there.
yep. And some people would call that crest. This looks very pterodactyl-like.
Yeah. You see the little, looks like a
Its
crest on its
wings
head or something.
really bend in an interesting way when they go up.
Oh, here it goes with the little.
Yeah, there it goes. It looks like it's almost upside down there. I guess he's looking down. It's weird.
Did look a little upside down. It makes you wonder. I think we'll take a little analysis of that. So I'm gonna bring the video to a stop here. Maybe I can. Oh, here we go. So it's speeding up a little, and then it. Interestingly, this, if you watch the video through, it kind of seems to be in the suburbs. So there's a house that comes into view here, and I think that's actually an important clue as to its identity. Maybe it's kind of out there, but maybe there's a lake nearby. See, there's a house. Looks like a nice Spanish tiled home there.
Yeah. There's
in Ohio.
And there's where they're ducking for cover.
what was that, medical marijuana on the side there? I'm not sure. That's what it looked like.
Those Ohio farmers, you know,
Yeah.
who knows what they're raising. So I actually subjected a few still shots here. There were 3 shots in particular that I thought were really interesting. So here's the first one. I call this Dino Exhibit 1. Like
That
Smitty said,
does look like a pterodactyl.
it really does look like a pterodactyl. And like Smitty said, you can kind of see a little, what appears to be a little gap between the crest of the Pteranodon and the rest of its body, or its neck, for example. And I call this Dino Exhibit 2, which I thought was another interesting picture. This is when it's starting to turn upside down.
Okay. That looks
in my mind,
less
this
like
is
a
kinda-
pelican than it was looking like before.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But to me, I
it
kind of
doesn't-
felt like it kind of gave itself away here.
It doesn't look like it has a tail right there. See, it's like missing the back part of it. It's weird.
That's
Have
right.
you seen that picture from the 1800s? I wonder if that's doctored. Surely that's not right.
Quite possibly. And I call this Dino Exhibit 3. This is after it took its kind of downspin, and it's kind of flying off behind the trees there. Again, it kind of appears very pterodactyl looking, right?
Yeah.
So what I did, I actually took those frames and sort of erased the bill, if you were, the skull, what people would call the skull of the Pteranodon. And I'm going to call this Dino Exhibit 1. Oops, 1A. I might have gave a little sneak preview of what I was thinking. So here, I'm going to compare this to Dino Exhibit 1. I've just erased the skull, as you see.
My only
Yeah.
issue with this is that the legs aren't very long. And I feel like pterodactyl legs are pretty long.
That's right. All right,
wonder
so
if
I'm
they
going to pull
go
up
to that
Dino
chicken.
Exhibit 2. And again, I'm going to take out the skull. I don't know about y'all, but it looks a little bit more bird-like to me now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Looks almost like a kite in it that picture where it was downward.
So I'm going to take
Yeah,
out
it did
the
look like a
skull
hood.
again.
Looks
I
very
suspect
similar
that-
to an eagle.
Glad you said that, Smitty. So I had an epiphany recently. I was out by a lake with my son, and I saw crane. We both saw a crane just
Yeah.
sitting perfectly still in the water. And these cranes have huge wingspans, right? And
They look prehistoric.
all of a sudden, they really do. And then all of a sudden, boom, head goes in the water. Out comes a big fish in his beak, right?
Mm.
Also,
Right.
CJ and I both live in places here in North Carolina. We both live near bald eagle habitats.
Well,
And we can
so do
frequently
I.
see them flying above. And Smitty, do you call yourself in bald eagle habitat?
I mean, I have a bald eagle that swoops down over the lake right here by my house.
Oh, do you ever see it carrying a fish?
I haven't yet, but like there's also two up in town. They have a nest behind Hardee's back there, and you can go look at the babies and stuff with
Oh, nice.
binoculars. There's a lot of eagles around here.
Well,
But
let's
yeah,
just
I've
re-examine.
seen an osprey carry a limb that was literally about 4 feet long one time.
Well, let's keep that in mind. I want you to re-examine this photo here, Dino Exhibit 1. Can you imagine this as an eagle with a fish in his
Sure.
mouth? I'm going to take away the fish, and now I actually found a silhouette of a bald eagle.
Yeah, especially
And
look at the tail. The tail's got see how much lighter the tail is compared to the rest of the body?
yes, well, I did one other thing here. I actually took the bald eagle silhouette, and I noticed do you see the framing of the head?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a little triangle
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the silhouette. Do you
Mm,
see what the head shape looks like if you just erase what could be a big fish in his beak? Now, I'm going to
yeah,
actually blur that bald eagle up. Did you see what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
So I just took the perfectly clear bald eagle silhouette, blurred it up.
oh yeah,
Does it not have a pretty striking resemblance?
Oh, it's
oh
very
yeah, big
similar. And
time.
if you think about how big a bald eagle's wingspan is, too, I mean, they can be up to 10 feet. That's a
Mm,
big bird. It's a big wingspan. But
Yes,
what
it
about
is.
the
I'm glad you
legs
said
behind
that,
it?
CJ, because yeah. Let's see what happens with this next one. Now, you see the legs in this still shot, they kind of weren't as
Right.
prominent, right? And to me, this is the shot that gave it away because I thought it was very bizarre behavior, right? This turning downward and kind of almost flying upside down. But it's not nearly as bizarre when you think that this is a big fish in its beak struggling
Mm-hmm.
to get out, right? Maybe it loses its grip, kind of has to lurch downward, get a better
Right.
grip on it. So here's where I take out the fish, what I say is a fish. Again, notice the legs aren't nearly as prominent or the tail
Right.
feathers, if you were. And again, I'm going to kind of bring in an eagle silhouette and blur it up. Not a perfect match, but what I do think is a pretty close match is kind of the head to wing area.
Yeah, and it flies more like an eagle than say a buzzard or vulture or something like that too. So that's more feasible
Absolutely.
because we've got enough buzzards around here to.
And before I show you that other exhibit, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I'm going to pull the video back up. But there was a scene in the video, I actually spotted it for the first time. Smitty was talking about it, where it kind of looks downward, and you can almost, to me, see a white head. Let's see. Can't quite get the video to right there.
Yep.
You see that?
Yeah, like right there. It looks like a little, what looks like some space between the whatever it's carrying, and that looks like it's white.
Yes. So if this is a fish, imagine it has a big fish there. That would be the perfect silhouette, head
Mm-hmm.
included, white head included, of a bald eagle. I'm going to pull up our final exhibit here that I
I'm looking
had.
at the video on my phone just to get a clearer quality because it's going a little slow on there. And I have to agree. In fast time, it doesn't look like legs in the back. It looks like a tail. Or excuse me, it looks like, yeah, feathers, a tail. And when he dives down like that, it does look like he's readjusting with a fish in his mouth.
Yes, absolutely. And here's this third frame I had. Deleted the fish, add in a bald eagle silhouette, blur it up a little bit. I think it's a pretty eerily similar match there.
So how popular has this video been?
Oh, incredibly
Where
popular.
did you first see about
Millions
Well.
of views. It's posted on a lot of paranormal
Okay.
sites, a lot of cryptid sites, so it's kind of all over.
It's had 2.7 million views on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
But this
hopefully when
one
we
actually was
close,
posted 6 years ago.
yeah. So hopefully when we close the case on it tonight, which I think we're going to, we'll hit easily, what, 3 million views?
Obviously.
So CJ brought up the wingspan, and let me pull that up. So CJ's right. They can definitely have a wingspan of 8 foot, and it does appear to be a very large thing. And if you don't think you confuse a bald eagle with a pterodactyl, just think about seeing an 8, 9, 10 foot wingspan. This eagle in this picture only has a 6 foot 7 inch wingspan, and compared to a person there. And you can imagine if you saw, a truly big bald eagle. I mean, just imagine how big of a fish it could carry for one thing, and how big that would look in the sky.
I've seen it catch fish before, and they get big fish.
Well, I was talking about that 411 missing. I thought they said that an eagle, they even considered one of those the smaller kids going missing, that an eagle could pick up maybe like 30 pounds. It was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I was really surprised
Oh,
how much they pick up.
So, the case of the mystery Pteranodon. Can we officially say at All Things Unexplained, case closed?
Would say so.
I don't want to. I want it to be a pteranodon. But yes, I think we can say case closed.
Can we officially say that this video is a bald eagle? America's bird. Case closed, folks. Now, I will insert, CJ, you'll be happy with this, an after credit scene. How about that? So, headline: Queensland, Australia, the University of Queensland News. Researchers find a fearsome dragon that soared over outback Queensland. Let's take a look and meet the newest member of the pterosaur family. And I've got a picture of it. This joker had a wingspan of 23 feet.
Wow.
I would like to fly over to Outback Steakhouse.
And by the way, I guess so we don't completely close the case on all these pterodactyl videos, also bears a striking resemblance to the video. So that's the newest fossil that was found in Australia, 23-foot
Really?
wingspan.
That's
Yes.
insane. 23-foot wingspan.
The scientists
Wild.
said it was essentially just a skull with a long neck bolted on a pair of long wings. This thing would have been quite savage, they said.
Yeah. And I think their bones are really hollow.
That's true. That's a great observation.
Mounts, you have something in common with them.
Yeah,
If only he could fly.
Your head's hollow and their bones are.
a great shadow over some quivering little dinosaurs who wouldn't have heard them coming until it was too late. It said even though they could fly, they were nothing like birds or even bats. CJ, it says pterosaurs were a successful and diverse group of reptiles, the very first backboned animals to take a stab at powered flight. And yes, they had quite hollow bones, and so they thin-walled and relatively hollow bones. It says, given these adaptations, their fossilized remains are rare and often poorly preserved. It's quite amazing fossils of these animals exist at all, Mr. Richards from the article said. So
Incredible.
maybe now we should say, rethink our case closed argument.
So it's so cool that they're still finding fossils like that.
I'm still sure it's eagle.
Like all good cryptid cases, that we can safely say case closed on this particular Pteranodon video. I think we've proven through scientific analysis that it was a bald eagle with a large fish, but the door is still open. Hollow Earth theorists rejoice. There's still room somewhere in the core for this Queensland Pteranodon. Perhaps he comes out, perhaps he escapes from the tunnels, the caves, and still haunts our skies.
Incredible. You know, I had read something a couple years ago, I want to say, where they were trying to clone woolly mammoths essentially from some of their remains. They were trying to recreate woolly mammoths and bring them back into existence. I'm going to have to check up on that and see how that's going.
What could go wrong, right?
Yeah, they were talking about that. My daughter was talking about that the other day.
Oh, really? Okay.
She'd heard something about it at school.
One of longtime listener, dinosaur fanatic, George Winters has chimed in.
What's up,
Glad his
George?
son Trip is not awake for this, or I would have to buy a new dinosaur.
Ooh. It's quite the collection.
You could always go get a new bald eagle.
There you go.
Yeah. You come over. Watch one out off my porch. They come swooping around here pretty regularly. Not a dinosaur, a bald eagle. You know, up in Tennessee about bald eagles, there's been 2 that's nested up at a national park site up there. Apparently, the female something's happened to her because the male's the only one nesting anymore because they mate for life. I don't know about these pterodactyls. They may be players, but eagles, they mate for life.
George and our other listeners, if you missed it, we officially closed the case on one of the most infamous pterodactyl videos of all time. It is a bald eagle. You know, when you think that it's a bald, it's amazing what perspective does, right? When you go into the video, just like CJ and Smitty did tonight, thinking pterodactyl,
You see it.
you truly see a pterodactyl. And just like I'm looking at this now, and I am thinking big bald eagle with a smallmouth bass. And that is exactly what I see. Do y'all see it in the video there?
Yeah, I see a bald eagle for sure now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Case closed. So sorry, Trip. Sorry, George. But we do believe that this fella could still be out there.
Let's hope not. That looks terrifying.
You don't want to run into that guy?
Yeah, I don't want to see him when I'm fishing. No.
Well, CJ and Smitty, thanks for joining me tonight.
Yes.
Yep.
I hate, it's never fun to be the debunker, right? But you gotta keep it real.
You're keeping it real.
That's true. That's true.
All Things Unexplained will return in a moment.
We're live again because we have some post-show reanalysis. CJ's shaking the video out again. Why don't you relay what you just said again,
This
CJ?
is what happens when I'm put on the spot. I haven't had an opportunity to actually analyze things. Okay, so we're talking about this pterodactyl video that people think is a pterodactyl. And Tim had said maybe the head of the bird is going down, but to me it looks like it's a bald eagle that is holding a fish, and it's got the fish sticking straight out of its mouth. And it almost looks like it kind of tosses the fish up and turns it to catch it so that it's perpendicular, just so that it has a better grip. That is my professional opinion on the matter. And there you go.
I mean, I've done that when I was hungry before. Just throw that fish up in the air and catch it back in my mouth.
Pterodactyl? No. Case closed. Bigfoot? No. That was a Smitty. Case closed.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, but it really is, like we said in the last video 10 seconds ago, it really is amazing. It just depends on...
guys.
Yeah. It just depends on your point of view. If you go into it looking for a pterodactyl, because that's what the title is, you see a pterodactyl. If the Discovery Channel has that posted on their Facebook, and they say giant, huge bald eagle with big fish struggling in the air, I think that's exactly what you see. Einstein was right.
So you're saying you're an expert.
Everything is relative. No, I'm saying everything is relative.
He thinks he's an expert on everything, but anyhow.
CJ agreed. The case is closed.
Yes, I do. I do agree.
Well, once again, it was good to see all of you. Because we're back 10 seconds later.
But the Queensland dragon could still be out there.
Yeah. He's in
Okay.
out, but
Any other post
Eat a bug.
analysis here? This is end credit scene 2.
No.
I know that. But be
I feel
happy.
like we should introduce a new
strong.
character.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, let it go. All right. Until next
See y'all.
time.
I was trying to
Oh yeah,
Bye.
Smitty was saying, be happy.
be strange. Listen to All Things Unexplained. We'll see you again probably in 30 seconds. Peace out.
And we're a podcast.
We are a podcast.
You've been listening to All Things Unexplained. If you liked this podcast, please do give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. If you would like to hear more All Things Unexplained, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Our show depends on the support of listeners like you. To help keep us going, please be sure to visit patreon.com/allthingsunexplained. Our Patreon patrons get early access to podcasts, as well as exclusive audio and video clips. Or you can find us on Venmo under the business accounts. Just look for @Bigfoot UFO. Additionally, you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/unexplained. If you can't get enough of us, go ahead and check us out at allthings-unexplained.com. A special thanks to our producer, director, sound mixer, editor, and the man who wears far too many hats. No, seriously, he wears a lot of hats. Dr. Tim Mounts. Without you, we couldn't keep the lights on. Thanks for listening to All Things Unexplained.